Hey everyone, welcome back to Literate Lens. I'm so glad you're here today because we're about to dive into a book that, honestly, it changed my life. And I know that sounds dramatic, but stay with me. Today we're talking about The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. And if you've ever felt like your mind just won't shut up, if you've ever been stuck replaying the past or worrying about the future until you feel like you're drowning, this summary is for you. Before we begin, if you love learning from books and want more powerful insights like this, hit that subscribe button for Literate Lens. Trust me, we've got so many more life-changing books coming your way. All right, let's jump in. So imagine this. You're lying in bed at night and your mind is racing. You're thinking about that embarrassing thing you said 3 years ago. Then you're worrying about tomorrow's presentation. Then you're analyzing every text message you sent today. And suddenly it's 2 a.m. and you haven't slept at all. Sound familiar? That's where most of us live, trapped between memories and worries, never actually here, never actually now. Eckhart Tolle starts this book with his own story, and it's pretty intense. He was 29 years old, sitting in his apartment, feeling this crushing depression. And one night, he woke up with this thought repeating in his head, I cannot live with myself anymore. I cannot live with myself anymore. And then something clicked. He thought, wait, if I cannot live with myself, then there must be two of me. There's the I, and there's the self that I cannot live with. Which one is real? That question shattered everything for him. And suddenly, he felt this incredible peace, like he'd been freed from a prison he didn't even know he was in. He spent the next few years just sitting on park benches, experiencing this deep state of bliss, and people thought he was crazy. But he wasn't crazy. He just discovered something that most of us miss our entire lives. He discovered the present moment. Now, you might be thinking, okay, the present moment, I get it, be present. I've heard this before. But hold on, because what Tolle explains goes so much deeper than just a motivational quote on Instagram. He's talking about the difference between your true self and the voice in your head that never stops talking. Think about it right now. Even as you're watching this video, there's probably a voice commenting on what I'm saying. Maybe it's agreeing with me. Maybe it's skeptical. Maybe it's thinking about what you need to do later. That voice, that's not you. That's your mind. And most people are so identified with that voice, with that constant stream of thoughts, that they think that is who they are. But Tolle says, no, you are the awareness behind the thoughts. You are the one who can observe the thinker. Let me give you an example that might hit home. Think about the last time you got really angry at someone. Maybe they cut you off in traffic, or they said something hurtful, or they let you down. In that moment, the anger felt like you, right? You were angry. You were that emotion. But here's the thing. If you were truly angry, if anger was your identity, you could never step back and say, I am angry. The fact that you can observe your anger means you are separate from it. You are the consciousness that notices the anger. This is huge. Because once you understand this, you realize that all your emotions, all your thoughts, all the drama in your head, it's not who you are. It's just stuff that's happening in your awareness, like clouds passing through the sky. The sky doesn't become the clouds. The sky just watches them class. But here's where it gets tricky. Our minds are incredibly resistant to living in the now. Why? Because the mind gets its identity from the past and the future. Think about how you usually describe yourself. You say things like, I'm the kind of person who, and then you reference past behaviors. Or you say, I want to be someone who, and you project into the future. Your mind is constantly building this story of who you were and who you want to be, and then doing that, it completely misses who you are right here, right now. Tolle calls this the pain body. It's this accumulation of old emotional pain that lives inside you, and it actually feeds on negative thinking and drama. Have you ever noticed how sometimes you almost want to be upset? Like someone does something minor, but you blow it up into this huge thing, and part of you is kind of enjoying the drama. That's your pain body, feeding itself by making you identify with your past pain, by making you replay old hurts over and over. And relationships, oh man, this is where it gets really interesting. Tolle talks about how most relationships are actually just two pain bodies attracting each other, then feeding off each other's negativity. You've seen this, right? Couples who seem to be addicted to fighting. They break up and get back together a million times. They say they love each other, but really, their pain bodies are just using each other to stay alive. True love, according to Tolle, can only exist in the present moment, because love isn't a thought or a feeling, it's a state of being. It's what emerges when you're not trapped in your mind, when you're just here, fully present with another person. That's why the beginning of relationships feels so amazing, because for a brief moment, the other person pulls you into the now. But then the mind kicks back in, expectations develop, old patterns emerge, and suddenly you're not relating to the actual person in front of you. You're relating to your thoughts about them, your judgments, your needs, your fears. So how do we break free from all this? How do we actually live in the now? Tolle gives us some really practical tools, and they're simpler than you might think. The first one is just become aware of your breathing. Right now, take a breath and notice it. Feel the air moving in and out. That's it. That simple act pulls you into the present moment because you can't breathe in the past or the future. You can only breathe now. Another technique he shares is to become intensely aware of your inner body. Close your eyes for a second and feel the energy in your hands. Feel the aliveness in your arms, your legs, your whole body. That subtle energy feel you're feeling, that's you beyond form. That's the eternal you, not the you that was born and will die, but the consciousness that animates your body. And here's something that really blew my mind. Tolle says that time isn't real. I know, that sounds crazy, but think about it. Can you point to time? Can you touch it? No. All you ever have is the present moment. The past is just a memory happening now. The future is just a thought happening now. Clock time exists, sure, you need it to catch your bus or show up to work. But psychological time, this constant living in past and future, this is what creates all our suffering. When you're worried, you're in the future. When you're regretful, you're in the past. But problems only exist in time. In the actual present moment, right now, are you okay? Not in 5 minutes, not based on what happened yesterday, but right now, are you okay? Usually, the answer is yes. The present moment in itself is never unbearable. It's only when we add past or future to it that we suffer. Tolle shares this powerful story about a beggar who sat on a box by the side of the road for years asking for money. One day, a stranger came by and asked, "What's in that box you're sitting on?" The beggar said he didn't know, he'd never looked. The stranger insisted he open it. When the beggar finally did, he found it was filled with gold. He'd been sitting on a fortune the whole time, begging for pennies. That's us. We're sitting on the treasure of the present moment, but we're so busy begging for happiness in the past or future that we never realize what we already have. Now let's talk about suffering, because this is where things get really deep. Tolle makes a distinction between pain and suffering. Pain is inevitable. It's part of being human. You'll lose people you love, you'll get sick, things will fall apart. That's pain, and that's natural. But suffering is what happens when you resist pain, when you create stories around it, when you identify with it and make it part of who you are. If you stub your toe, that's pain. But if you then spend the next hour thinking, why does this always happen to me? I'm so clumsy. This day is ruined. That's suffering, and that's optional. That's your mind taking a moment of pain and stretching it into a whole narrative of victimhood. The ego loves this, by the way. Your ego, that false sense of self that's built from thoughts and past conditioning, it actually thrives on problems. Have you ever noticed that when things are going well, your mind starts looking for something to worry about? That's the ego.
It needs problems to feel like it exists. It needs to be right, to feel important, to be separate from others. And it will create drama just to feel alive. But when you start living in the now, the ego starts to dissolve. And that can be scary because the ego is what you've thought of as you for your whole life. Letting it go feels like death, but it's not death. It's awakening. It's finally discovering who you really are beneath all the mental noise. Tolle talks about acceptance as the key to all of this. Not passive resignation, but true acceptance of what is. Whatever's happening right now, this is it. You can accept it, enjoy it, or leave it. Those are your three choices. What you can't do is be in a situation, not accept it, not leave it, and complain about it. That's just madness. But that's what most people do most of the time.
If you're stuck in traffic, you have three options. Accept it and be at peace. Enjoy it. Maybe listen to music or a podcast. Or leave. Take a different route. But sitting there, stewing in rage, making yourself miserable, that changes nothing except your own state of being. You're just adding suffering to an uncomfortable situation. And here's something beautiful. When you truly accept the present moment, you often find that you have more power to change it. Why? Because you're not wasting energy on resistance. You're not clouding your judgment with negative emotions. You can see clearly and act effectively. This applies to dealing with difficult people, too. When someone is being unconscious, operating purely from ego, the worst thing you can do is react from your own ego. That just creates more conflict, more pain body feeding. But if you can stay present, stay aware, you don't take their behavior personally because you see it's not really about you. They're just trapped in their own mind, their own pain. And sometimes your presence, your consciousness, can actually help pull them out of it. Tolle also talks about enlightenment, but not as some distant goal that only monks on mountaintops can achieve. He says enlightenment is simply your natural state when you're not identified with your mind. It's not something you attain in the future, it's something you realize right now. Every moment you're fully present, you're enlightened. Every moment you're lost in thought, you're not. And it's not all or nothing. You don't wake up one day and suddenly you're Buddha and you never think again. It's a practice, a constant return to now. You'll get lost in thought 1,000 times a day, and that's okay. The magic is in noticing. Every time you catch yourself lost in thought and return to the present, that's a victory. That's awareness growing. One of my favorite parts of the book is when Tolle talks about everyday tasks. He says, give your full attention to whatever you're doing right now. If you're washing dishes, be with the dishes. Feel the water, the soap, the texture of the plates. Don't rush through it to get to something better. There is nothing better. This moment is all there is. This is so counter to how we usually live. We eat lunch while checking our phones, planning our afternoon, replaying our morning. We drive on autopilot, our minds a million miles away. We talk to people, but we're not really there. We're thinking about what we're going to say next, or judging them, or thinking about something else entirely. We sleepwalk through life and then wonder why we feel so empty, so dissatisfied. But when you bring presence to ordinary moments, they become extraordinary. A simple walk becomes a meditation. A meal becomes a celebration. A conversation becomes a real connection. This doesn't mean life becomes perfect or that you'll never have problems. It means you stop creating unnecessary suffering. It means you're finally here for your life, instead of constantly waiting for it to begin. Tolle also addresses the question everyone asks, but don't I need to think about the future? Don't I need goals? If I'm always in the now, won't I become passive and never achieve anything? And his answer is brilliant. He says, use the mind as a tool when you need it, then put it down. Yes, sometimes you need to plan. So you bring your full attention to planning, then you return to the now. You don't carry the planning with you 24/7 as a low-level anxiety. And here's the paradox. When you're fully present, you actually become more effective, more creative, more successful. Why? Because you're not splitting your energy between past and future. You're not operating from fear or neediness.
You're just responding to what is right here, right now, with all your intelligence and awareness. Think about athletes in the zone or artists lost in creation. They're not thinking about winning or fame or failure. They're completely absorbed in what they're doing right now. That's presence. That's when we perform at our best. That's when life flows.
As we come toward the end of this summary, I want to touch on something Tolle says about death. He says that when you make friends with the present moment, you make friends with death, because death is just the end of form, the end of the story. But you, the real you, the consciousness, you're not form. You're not the story. So what is there to fear? This isn't about being morbid. It's about recognizing that every moment, the old you is dying and a new you is being born. When you cling to the past version of yourself, when you resist change, you suffer. But when you allow life to flow, when you surrender to what is, you're in harmony with the natural rhythm of existence. And surrender doesn't mean giving up. It means accepting what is, then doing whatever you can do in this moment. It means responding to life instead of constantly reacting from past conditioning. It's the difference between fighting the current and skillfully navigating the river. So where does this leave us? Tolle's message is ultimately one of hope and liberation. You don't need to fix yourself. You don't need to become someone better in the future. You just need to wake up to who you already are, right now. You are not your thoughts. You are not your past. You are not your problems. You are the awareness in which all of this arises. And the beautiful thing? You don't have to believe any of this. You can test it right now. Just for a moment, stop thinking. Be aware of being aware. Notice the aliveness in your body, the space around you, the simple fact of existence. That's it. That's the power of now. And it's always available, always here, waiting for you to return. Living in the now doesn't mean you'll never feel sad or face challenges. It means you'll stop adding mental suffering to natural pain. It means you'll stop being at war with life. It means you'll finally show up for the miracle that's happening right in front of you, every single moment. So here's my challenge to you. Just for today, try to catch yourself when your mind wanders to past or future. When it does, and it will, just gently bring yourself back to now. Notice your breath. Feel your body. Look at something with fresh eyes, as if you've never seen it before. That's it. No need to be perfect. No need to be enlightened. Just practice returning home to this moment over and over again. Because here's the truth that Tolle wants us to understand. You've been waiting your whole life for now. This is it. This moment, right here. Not when you get the job, not when you find the relationship, not when you achieve the goal. Now is all you've ever had, and it's all you'll ever have. And when you truly realize that, when you stop resisting it and start embracing it, that's when real less begins. Thank you so much for spending this time with me here at Literate Lens. If this summary resonated with you, if you felt something shift inside, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. We're building a community of people who believe in the power of books to transform lives, and I'd love for you to be part of it. Drop a comment below and let me know, what's one way you can be more present today? Remember, every book holds lessons that can change your life, but only if you actually apply them. Don't just consume this content and move on. Take one idea from today and try it. Be present for one meal. Notice one breath. Observe one thought without believing it. That's how transformation happens, one conscious moment at a time. Until next time, keep reading, keep learning, and most importantly, keep being present. This is Literate Lens, reminding you that the power to change your life isn't in the future, it's right here, right now. See you in the next video.